Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/choosingbeggars. So sit back, relax and enjoy some funny Reddit stories. I returned your money, all $3.15 of it in full. You were rude, disrespectful and above all entitled. 1 star. Easily the worst experience I have ever had with service and management, and I can confidently say that me and my friends will never return to this establishment. A few weeks prior, I had been to blank for the first time and loved it so much that I wanted to bring some different friends out to introduce them to it. When I came for the first time, I arrived around 7, stayed for the band set, had some drinks with my date and had a fantastic time. The second time around, I made reservations to ensure a seat for the band and agreed to be the designated driver for the night. My friends ordered a few beers and a meal, and I got a Diet Coke. After a few hours, one friend settled up and left. Shortly afterward, we were approached by our waiter and a group of 4 men. We were told rudely, not asked, that we had to give up our table to this party of 4 and we were to move somewhere in the corner. In essence, the request made sense. Clearly 2 people should be at a 2-person table. However, the server did not approach it politely, and it was the party of 4 who apologized and thanked us for moving. Very soon after moving, and without requesting it, we were served with our bill. My bill was a bit confusing, $6 for 1 Diet Coke. When I asked for clarification from our server, I was rudely told I was charged extra because I had been sitting for a long time and hadn't ordered much. I felt pretty uncomfortable with this idea, as it seemed a bit unethical to overcharge someone on the grounds of sitting in an establishment. I spoke with a much more reasonable female server who I was more comfortable with, and the problem was easily rectified. During the interaction, however, our aggressive server came over and watched over me as I paid, shaking his head in disgust and whispering to the server that helped me. This left me deeply uncomfortable, and I thought that I would let management know that we were not feeling the best about our server. The manager, Red, actually saw me coming and approached me aggressively. I explained how things were handled and how displeased we were with service. She immediately became defensive and told us that our server was angry because he was losing money on our table, and that it could have been turned over 4 times by now. She told me they were a restaurant and we all needed to be ordering food, and that we had stayed too long without ordering enough. I was appalled that any manager would say these things to a paying customer, and told her we weren't aware of any of these policies and that she seemed like she was being quite confrontational. I thanked her for her time, stated that I didn't think that the conversation was going to end constructively, and went back to my table, with nothing resolved. Soon after, our aggressive server came with the machine, prompting us to settle our bill about 3 times within a minute. We were not ready to leave, as the band we came to see was still playing. After this, another server came to us and asked us to leave, claiming they had other customers that wanted our table. The party next to us saw this and offered for us to sit with them so we could watch the last of the show. Then, something bizarre and infuriating happened. The manager/owner, Blue, came to the table with fistfuls of cash which she slammed down in front of me and my friend. She yelled that we could have our money back for our food and drinks, and that we needed to get out now, and she pointed to the door. We were appalled, confused, and extremely frustrated. Interactions with people like this are rare, and hardly ever occur with managerial staff. I can't help but feel like there is something imbalanced with this woman, as such an irrational reaction was completely unwarranted and unjust. Needless to say, that will be the last time we ever go to the blank. I would advise people to avoid the abhorrent service and management here. Good music is easily to find in blank, and it's not worth the headache of dealing with the unstable owner. Comment from Blue of blank. Hi Green, cute fake name though. This is Blue, the unstable owner. I already responded at length to the TripAdvisor review you had your friend Yellow write for you a couple months ago. I assume that's what prompted this new rant 8 weeks on. Glad you finally worked up the cojones to write up your own review. Kudos. Once again, here is my response. In the 9 years Reddit has been open, I have never publicly responded to a negative review, but your comments are of the alternative fact variety, and I intend to defend myself. Part of me feels the pettiness of doing this, but a larger part of me needs to stand up for my staff and against the attitude of guests like you. Incidentally, I have also never asked a guest to leave my establishment, except that one guy who was puking on the dinner table at his company Christmas party, but that was for his own good. I stand 100% by my decision to do this with you, and did so after I returned your money, all $3.15 of it in full. You were rude, disrespectful, and above all entitled. Traditionally, when guests make dinner reservations, they are planning to, come for dinner. For Banview tables, we typically impose a 2.5-hour seating limit in order that the other patrons can enjoy the show once the first wave of diners have finished their meals. More than 3 hours after your arrival, we asked if you would mind moving to a smaller table, while we waited for you to pay, since we had a lineup at the door. This was a pretty reasonable expectation, since neither you nor your friend had ordered anything in over an hour. You begrudgingly moved, and we brought the bill. You weren't happy about not getting a free pop refill. You found a manager, complained, was apologized to, and had the second pop removed. Despite this, you then complained to the bar manager, then to me, about the aggressive service in moving you. I apologized for the fact that we should have been clearer over the phone about table times and dining, and were in the wrong, but that perhaps that would explain some of the service frustrations. None of these apologies were sufficient, and you let us know it. At 11 PM, 4 hours after arrival, and 2.5 hours since anything had been ordered, you finally paid. Then just sat and watched as we turned away table after table that came to the door. If you'd been treated so horribly, why stay for hours afterward? Finally, my floor manager respectfully asked that you vacate the table to make way for other patrons. Instead, you then just moved over and intruded on another table. At that point, I'd had enough. You were now inconveniencing other guests. I figured if I refunded your money, you would no longer be a paying customer, and I could then, in good conscience, ask you to leave, which is what I did. Myself and my staff have put blood, sweat, tears, and years into building this business in an effort to keep live music vibrant in Vancouver. We don't charge cover for our shows, but we do expect guests to have basic awareness of the fact that we are running a business. I can understand that some people may not want to come for dinner, and I can understand that some people aren't big drinkers, but I can't abide by somebody living in such a self-absorbed bubble that they don't realize why giving attitude over a $3 bill is frustrating to service staff, and then judging us as being aggressive/unstable. Your server is one of the kindest and most generous people I know. The only aggressive one was you, and when it became clear to me that you thought it was your divine right to camp out for the evening and expect to be treated respectfully after being so blatantly disrespectful to my staff and spending $3, I asked you to leave. You're not at McDonald's, honey. Did I handle myself as professionally as I could have? In the beginning, sure, I did, but almost 5 hours in, hell no. I was offended, irritated, and stunned that an adult would behave in such a childish manner. You can't come into my house and behave like that. I did not at any point yell or slam fistfuls of cash. How do you slam a fistful of $3? But I did tell you to get out, and I didn't ask nicely. At some point, you have to defend your livelihood. For future reference, here's some advice on how to get free pop refills in restaurants. Behave like a grown-up, be nice to your server, and if you sit at a table for 4.5 hours and order 2 Diet Cokes while enjoying a free show, and then quibble over your $6 bill, then you are probably going to be met with some frustrations by the time you have complained to 4 different people about it. Also, you may want to try an exercise called self-reflection before hiding behind a fake name on the internet and branding somebody as unstable/imbalanced. Your behavior was disgraceful and you should be embarrassed. Go take your pocket change and entitlement elsewhere. We're all good here. Thanks. That has got to be the absolute longest reply I've seen from an owner on any review site, and probably the best review, and that was good. You treat me like that, I treat you the same way. Was in the ER last night, ended up leaving after 2 hours because we heard people say they had been there since midday and had been shuffled to another hospital and back again. Homeless dude goes up and asks the triage nurse how long it'll be, obviously told that they don't really know how. Homeless guy then asks if there's any food because he's been waiting so long. Triage bro goes and gets him a sandwich from the back, even asks if he had any allergies to any foods. Triage bro comes back. I don't really hear what's happening till homeless dude says, "You treat me like that, I treat you the same way," and walks out. I see Triage bro throw the sandwich away, and when his colleagues ask what happened, he threw the sandwich on the floor because I didn't bring him a drink. What? Homeless guy then sat outside the ER till at least when we left. Wow, choosing beggar. How am I supposed to eat this sandwich that's free without my Pepsi? Can I live with ya? A single woman lived a few houses down from me, apparently a foster parent since she cared for 5 kids. The state kept close surveillance on her because she had various live-in boyfriends over the years and didn't follow the rules. Well, she lost her kids last month and lost the house. I'm working on my car outside late last month, and here she came explaining the entire story to me, how she lost her kids and was behind $8,000 on the mortgage. She flat out asked, "Can I live with ya? I don't want to leave this neighborhood." I was shocked, told her my wife wouldn't approve, and she left with a nice, "Screw you, you never cared about us anyway." She was kicked out October the 1st, and the bank has been cleaning up her mess ever since. At least 3 large dumpster loads out of that house. Maybe now we can get a decent owner in there who appreciates what they've actually got. I'm really confused how she got a mortgage in the first place. Don't you have to go through like some sort of steps to get one, especially not in her position? Spoiled sister gets tuition and expenses paid for by mother, demands more. This happened earlier in the summer and I feel like it belongs here. In Canada, until last year, high-income earning parents could do something called income splitting, where they essentially receive a tax break by declaring some of their income on their children's tax returns, and therefore pay a lower tax rate on that income. This was all very legal and was allowed by the government. My mother did this for my sister when she was 18 to 22, because my sister did not work and had no other income. During these years, my mother also paid for 100% of my sister's university tuition and living expenses. Choosing beggar. My sister is now coming after my mother and demanding my mother pay all the money she saved in taxes. Not only did my sister get her high school and living expenses paid for, but she now also wants the small amount of money my mum saved on taxes in those years. She will obviously not get any money, and we politely walked her through how this works. But this has caused a huge blowout in the family after she threatened to take legal action, and she hasn't spoken to us in months. I'd love to see what legal action she could take there. She'd probably end up having to pay all the living expenses and tuition herself, and she'd be out a lot. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.